Live from KLKN TV in Lincoln, this is Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. The latest now on last night's shooting in Crete. A worker at a cold storage facility there shot 3 people and then killed himself. Vanessa Brown joins us live from Crete and is kicking off our team coverage tonight. Vanessa?
That's right, Rod. First, I want to give you an idea of where we are. We're standing alongside Highway 103, just outside of Farmland Foods plant, and the shooting actually happened across the street. I want to go ahead and give you a look at that. That's the Americold building where the shooting took place. I just want to reiterate, the authorities believe 1 person is dead, the shooter. 3 more are injured. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Karen Morfitt has more.
Workers of Americold Logistics in Crete returned to work this morning, less than 24 hours after the plant was home to a horrific scene.
We received a 911 call of shots fired at the Americold facility.
According to the Saline County Sheriff's Office, 26-year-old Akush Kushal from Lincoln and an employee at the plant entered the lunchroom during a break time just before 10 p.m. He began shooting. Kushal injured 3 Crete employees, Elizabeth Canas, Renee Villarreal, and Paul Riviera, all before turning the gun on himself. The victims were transported to nearby hospitals. Kushal's body was found in a plant parking lot. A weapon was found on the scene. Officials with Americold released this statement saying they are cooperating with the investigation and they wish to extend their sincere thoughts and prayers to their co-workers as well as their family and friends. The Saline County Sheriff's Office says they have no motive behind the shooting, and even after 8 years as the head of the department, Moore says something like this is always hard to take.
It's definitely a shock. It's something that you don't want to have happen in your community, as in any large community would be the same way. So it definitely affects us because we're smaller.
In Crete, Karen Morfitt, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
This whole shooting brings up a lot of questions about why it took place and who the shooter was. Joining us now to continue our team coverage is Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Stephanie Costanzo. Stephanie?
Yeah, Vanessa, when events like this happen, everyone wants to know how it happened, why it happened. Well, I did have a couple chances to talk to some family members about what the events leading up to the shooting and the shooter itself. 26-year-old Akush Kushal lived in Lincoln but worked at the Americold Logistics facility in Crete. A family member of one of the victims told Channel 8 Kushal was upset with a girl at work and said he was going home and would be back. The victim told his family member Kushal returned to the plant with a gun and first shot out a glass window in the plant's cafeteria. He then turned and shot 3 victims before turning the gun on himself. Kushal's Facebook page had a quote saying, "Life is unfair. It doesn't matter whatever you do to make things right, so tell me what to do to keep living in this world of ours." It was posted just 2 hours before the shooting. One of Kushal's brothers told Channel 8 several members of their family work at the plant, and although he wouldn't appear on camera, he said Kushal mostly just worked and took care of his mother here in Lincoln. The family came over from Sudan in the late 90s and moved to Lincoln. Now, some members of the family told me they literally found out about the shooting when they were arriving at Americold last night for their shift. Now, as of now, some of those family members are gathering at Kushal's Lincoln apartment. They say, Vanessa, they're just trying to piece together why this all happened.
And I know when we leave from here, we are going to be talking to some more people who worked at the facility, were perhaps closer to some of these victims, maybe even the shooter. We're going to bring you all of that information tonight at 10. But again, we just want to let you know where we are. We're standing off of Highway 103 just outside of Crete in front of the Farmland Foods plant and across the street where the shooting took place at Americold. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you, Rod.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa. I want to mention just a few minutes ago, I did talk to officials with Americold, and they told me that they do have on-site counselors there at the factory, just in case employees there need a little help to get through this. The town of Crete has a population of about 6,000 people, and as you might imagine, when something like this happens, its impact is far-reaching. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Darby Bybee was in Crete and joins us with more. Darby?
Yeah, Rod, and given its relatively small size, it's not too surprising that when a man walks into one of these factories and opens fire, it's bound to have an impact on almost everybody in town.
We're all family around here, and when something like this happens, I think it devastates, the whole community.
Robert Gooding works the first shift at Americold storage unit just south of Crete, where last night a man entered and shot 3 employees. Last night he wasn't sure if he would be going back to work, but from the looks of it, it was business as usual today at this factory. In the meantime, the town reflects on what happened. What if your son had been working there at the time?
I would have been scared to death, because that's the shift he used to work.
Crete's economy is heavily dependent on the factories that are in and around it, so it's not surprising to meet people like Holly Miller, who knows several people who work at Americold.
I'm going to hope that I don't get a phone call that I do have a funeral to go to, and hope that it's somebody I can visit in the hospital and hug and say, I'm glad you're okay.
Now, 2 of the 3 employees who were shot have been released.
All right, good news there. Thank you, Darby. And those 2 patients, by the way, were rushed to Bryan LGH West Trauma Center here in Lincoln late last night. Hospital officials held a press conference late this afternoon, and Ashley Larson was there. She joins us with the latest on that. Ashley?
Rod, the most critically injured person was brought to Bryan LGH by the Star Care helicopter. Now, we actually caught video of her being transported by the helicopter. Dr. Reginald Burton, trauma director for Bryan LGH, says she had 11 gunshot wounds. The most severe was right near her spine, but fortunately doctors say she won't be paralyzed. Now, when she came in, her injuries were considered life-threatening. She underwent close to 8 hours of surgery. Burton says she's still waking up from the intense surgery. Here's him discussing her injuries.
She underwent emergent surgery. She had over 11 gunshot wounds, injuries including liver, spleen, colon in 2 places, her diaphragm, and the gunshot wound to the chest also.
Now, another patient, Rene Villarreal, was also brought in. He had 4 gunshot wounds, but we actually have some good news to report tonight. We just got off the phone with Bryan LGH, and he was discharged just a short time ago. Now, Dr. Burton says in addition to these 2 patients, they had 3 other trauma patients to take care of. So there were close to 100 people, from surgeons, doctors, nurses, taking care of these patients. We're going to have much more on this story coming up tonight at 10.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Yes, you're right. We'll have a full wrap-up of all that happened last night in Crete tonight at 10. Let's talk about your weather now. Just moments ago, a heavy downpour here in the Lincoln area. Let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Kevin Coskren.
Well, that downpour put down about 3/10 of an inch of rain at Lincoln Airport, and some gusty winds as well from the northwest. Take a look at live Doppler. The most recent radar image shows that from Waverly to Eagle to Hickman, you're still in the middle of that thunderstorm activity, but from Lincoln to Crete and back towards Seward, the worst is over as far as the heavy rain and also the frequent lightning. Now, looking at the last hour of Doppler radar imagery, you see that southeastern Lancaster County right now getting hit hard with the thunderstorms, and also stretching just to the north and west of Beatrice right now. Those storms are right on your doorstep down there in central Gage County. But once these storms press through the area during the next hour or so, we should have smooth sailing for the rest of the night. Taking a look at some precip totals here in Lincoln today, almost a ½ inch all told. We did have some this morning as well. Grand Island, York, and Hastings all saw more than an inch of rain during the day today. Gusty winds and thunderstorms for the next hour or so, and then clearing overnight and cool temps. Speaking of cool temps, your weekend forecast comes up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Kevin. A Lincoln man is dead after a bicycle accident. Police say on Monday, workers found 51-year-old Matthew Werner unconscious in the street. He was riding his bike when it hit a stick and he crashed. He was not wearing a helmet. Werner died on Tuesday night at Bryan LGH West. A Lincoln robber who made national headlines pled guilty in court. The toilet paper bandit, 29-year-old Joshua Nelson, came to an agreement with prosecutors and had his charge lowered. When sentenced, Nelson could face 20 years in prison. Back in April, Nelson concealed his face with toilet paper when he tried to rob a convenience store. He was armed with a knife, but no one was hurt. The superintendent of the Centura Public School District will go to trial on a charge of drunk driving. Kenneth Hines of Carroll was arrested Sunday morning. He has pled not guilty. Authorities say he failed a field sobriety test. Court documents say Hines was convicted of DUI back in 2008. He has been superintendent of the district since 2007. More credit card number frauds are coming in. Lincoln Police Officer Katie Flood said 62 more cases were reported yesterday. That makes the total of 181 fraud reports. Now, at first, police thought it was just happening to local bank customers, but they're noticing it's happening to different credit card customers as well. Police believe a nationwide database was compromised. Coming up on Channel 8 Eyewitness News tonight, a battle of unbeatens meet in our Game of the Week Friday night as Lincoln Northeast and Southeast get set to square off.
Channel 8 Eyewitness News weather forecast.
We just got through a heavy downpour here in the capital city, but taking a live look to the northwest out of Nebraska Lottery Tower, Cam 8, Saturday.
Well, you know, we've had the rain here, but in other parts of the Midwest, they've had a lot more. Rain continues to drench parts of the upper Midwest. Let's take a look at some video. In Minnesota, flooding southeast of Minneapolis has the state's Department of Transportation trying to find passable detours around flooded sections of highways. Another band of rain is moving into that area this evening, causing a transportation department spokesman to say the problem is getting bigger and bigger. Now, in Wisconsin, more than half of the residents of Arcadia were forced to leave their homes because of flooding. A river has left the downtown area with up to 3 feet of water. The police there went door to door earlier today to help move residents to a local Catholic church. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported, and the governor has declared a state of emergency. And Kevin, they have been hit hard, right?
Yeah, there was one town that I saw just 8 inches just today, and they also had some yesterday and more on the way for tonight. Southwest Wisconsin got hit hard.
Yeah, coming up on Channel 8 Eyewitness News tonight. It's a popular sight around the 4th of July. Could one Nebraska town see something like it to celebrate another holiday? You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6. Several Nebraska family welfare groups may shut their doors because of funding cuts. Groups testified yesterday before a legislative committee to try and keep the centers open. The director of Parent to Parent in Northeast Nebraska says if funding isn't renewed, the center will be forced to shut down on September 30th. While the state has stopped sending children to 2 programs at Boys Town, it comes after a review this summer that found staffers improperly treated young people. The review says treatment included keeping them in isolation and misusing restraints. Some Nebraskans could get an extra pop to their New Year's celebration this year. It's a popular sight, of course, around the 4th of July, and the Scottsbluff City Council wants to consider an ordinance that would allow residents to buy and set off fireworks to ring in the new year. Once the measure is drafted, there will be 3 readings and votes on it to ensure that there is public input. Warren Buffett, he is sharing his thoughts on the economy. The billionaire gave his assessment in an interview on CNBC today. He says, by his definition, we are still in a recession. That's because most people and businesses still aren't doing as well as they were before the financial crisis, according to Mr. Buffett. His point of view contradicts that of experts who say the recession officially ended in June of 2009. Coming up on Channel 8 Eyewitness News Sports, we're going to preview our game of the week between Lincoln Northeast and Southeast. Plus, we get to know the Husker defensive line. It's all coming up. You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6.
Channel 8 Eyewitness News Sports.
Bo Pelini announced today after practice that black shirts have officially been handed out to 12 players. Tonight at Seacrest Field, the game has been delayed, not canceled, delayed because of storms in the area.
Yeah, just kind of putting it off for just a little bit.
Just a little while.
All right, thank you, Brett. Stay with us. Speaking of the rain, final check of your forecast is next. Let's find out who can expect more rain tonight.
Well, areas to the east and southeast of Lincoln getting the worst of it right now. You take a look at the last hour of Doppler radar imagery. Also look back to the south and west of Lincoln toward Crete at the last image right there. Now, there still are some storms trying to form in the wake of the ones that just went through, so we're not quite done yet, but it's not going to be much longer. I think within the hour, we're going to start to see possibly some clearing around here. If you look off to the west, you can see a sliver of sunshine. So something to look forward to for the rest of tonight for the footballers too, right, Brett?
Yeah, they were worried about the lightning, I think, more than the rain. They still play football in the rain, but if that lightning can stay away, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, they just need to be patient, right?
Not much longer.
All right, we'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.